Good morning, this is Kevin. We're gonna talk about how air conditioning works. It's gonna be a little bit technical, but yet this is probably one of the most important video that you need to understand as everything is built on this foundation. So, air conditioning is about removing heat from space. When we're talking about cool air conditioning in climate of Singapore, but of course in temperate countries, air conditioning can also be referred to producing heat in winter climate. So, and if you have ever wondered how exactly does air conditioning work, and what's the use of this refrigerant, this is a subject that I'll discuss in details with you. The refrigerant that most domestic aircon is using is a type of gas that is called R410. So typically that is a HCFC gas. In the past, it first started maybe about 100 to 150 years ago. It started with experiment using ammonia gas. And as we are aware is that all gas can be compressed until it forms into a liquid. So we've seen a lot of such gas, like liquefied nitrogen, liquefied oxygen, your LPG gas, the gas in your lighter. It becomes clear that all gas, yes, in fact all gas, as long as you compress it hard enough, usually by 600 to 1,000 times its actual volume, you can turn it into a liquid. And yet it's not as simplistic as it is. How it turns into a liquid, in fact, can be very easily understood, as they behave similar to we human beings. Any gas, when you compress it too much, it becomes very, very hot. Just like any human being, you give him too much pressure, he becomes very angry. And it remains as a very heated up gas, just like a very angry person. But something interesting happens is that in this compressed, heated up state, if you introduce a fan and you were to blow at this heated up gas to discharge it of the extra heat, it will begin to solidify and turn into a liquid. And you see, just like we human beings, when we are so heated up, we're so angry, we're so stressed, so pressurized, you are so angry, and what you need is a friend who comes by and say, come, let's go for a drink. And suddenly you get rid of the anger and frustration. Things are not so bad after all, and you begin to change from an angry spirit to something that's very stable. You begin to have a change of mind, a change of state, and liken the liquefied gas. So there's a change in you, is that you're no longer so volatile. You become very stable. You cannot be compressed anymore. You have some values, you have some mindset that doesn't change, solid foundation. And that is also happening in the world of compressed gas. So the interesting part here is that with this compressed liquid gas, you have to continue to put the necessary pressure on the liquid gas. So take for instance the R4 tank gas. You continue to exert a pressure of 350 psi, which is roughly 10 times the pressure that goes into your car tire, which is a lot of pressure. The liquid gas will remain a liquid. But what happens is that the moment you lift up this pressure, the liquid gas will immediately vaporize and return back to its original state. No different from the human being. You put him under certain condition, you give him the necessary consolation, it forms him to have some personality, but yet that is not his original spirit, so as to speak. It's a conditioned circumstances. And the moment you take away the pressure of life, you have to go and work for his living, and these are all pressures, he became a free spirit once again. So the moment you leave this pressure again, it will turn back to its original state, which is the gas state. And something happened is that while it's vaporizing back to a gas state, it becomes cold. And it's this foundation that builds air conditioning. So, and likewise, when you lift off this pressure, you also have to have a fan that blows at the gas for the change to take place. So likewise, as I've mentioned just now, you have a friend that comes around and say, let's go for a drink, to console him, and that helps to change an angry gas to a stable liquid gas. So now as the pressure has been lifted up, you also need a friend to come in and tempt you, say, hey, let's go for a holiday and spend your money. That's how you become happy, and that is how you become cool. So if you lift off the pressure and you keep your money without spending, you're not gonna be any happy. You're not going to be any happier. So we find that the interesting thing about the gas in this physical world is no different from our human world, and hope this helps you to understand better. So now back to the problems of aircon. So a lot of aircon suck when it's not cold. In fact, it's because the fan coil is clogged up, so the air draft doesn't flow properly. So it's not discharging the cold air properly, or rather it does not cause the liquid gas to vaporize. So it does not vaporize enough, it doesn't take the heat out of the room. So put it in another perspective, what it means is that someone has worked so hard, has been working in a very pressurized environment, but he's earned a lot of money, he's kept his money, and then when the pressure has been lifted up, but he has become a miser, he don't want to spend his money, and he's looking at the figures in his bank, and that's not going to bring him a lot of happiness. So you need someone to come in, which is that fan, his good friend, his brother, his wife, to say, come, let's go for a holiday, or let's buy a fanciful house, car, and the more you spend, the happier you are, unfortunately. So when aircon is clogged up, it means that the amount that you are willing to put in to spend this money is not there. So that's why you are not experiencing the happiness or the coolness that you well deserve. So, and a mistake to do now is that if you are not experiencing the cold air that you require, it has got nothing to do with the amount of gas that you have in the system. So you have to unclog it, and then the cycle of life continues. So this is the fundamentals of how air conditioning works. I hope this is making sense to you. Thank you.